there are any questions.
Educator Effectiveness. The Educator Effectiveness Committee is called to order. Can I get a roll call vote? Hey.
Dr. Bofi?
Still present.
Mr. Davis?
Also still present.
Ms. Edmonston?
Here.
Mr. Garvey? Here. Ms. Holloway?
Present.
Dr. Jones?
Present.
Ms. Lewis? Ms. Jada Lewis is not in attendance. Ms. Kira Orange-Jones? Ms. Orange-Jones is not in attendance. Mr. Rock?
Present.
Dr. Thomason?
Present.
Ms. Voce? Here. And Ms. Kimberly Eckert? Here.
We have a quorum. First item, please.
Your consent agenda is ready for approval.
Can I have a motion? Motion by Ms. Voce. Can I have a second? Second by Dr. Bofi. Are there any comments?
No, sir.
If there's no comments, or any objections? Motion passes. Next item, please.
Your first item is on page 7, item 3.1, consideration of proposals for the Early Childhood Ancillary Certificate Program. The department recommendation is to approve the proposals for Frog Street Press, Nunez College, and Pro Solutions Training.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Bofi. Can I get a second? Second by, I'm sorry, I saw, well, I heard Ms. Holloway, so we'll go with Ms. Holloway today. Do we have any comments?
We do.
We have comments of, know this person. Ms. Glenda Allen, Dr. Glenda Allen Jones. Or maybe I don't know the person.
Hi, good morning.
Okay. Glad to have
Turn
you.
your mic
Is
on.
your green light on? No, it's not. Press the button.
Okay, got it. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Glenda Allen Jones. I am here for the Early Childhood Ancillary Certificate. Oh, the next item? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's the next item, okay.
No, I think it's this item. It just is, we just happen to have it.
Well, thank you. Well, you can go ahead, you're cleared. Okay.
Once again, I'm Dr. Glenda Allen Jones. I am the account executive for Frog Street Press. It is my extreme pleasure to be here with you this morning. For 3 years, Frog Street Press has partnered with Louisiana to present Tier 1 curriculum and best-in-class professional development. And we are very excited to be at this juncture and for what I've just heard to have received approval to be committed and dedicated to working with Louisiana once again. I have the extreme benefit of living in the state, so I see all the wonderful outcomes that we are doing and those things that we will be doing in the future with our wonderful coursework, applied practices, job-embedded training, and all the work that we're doing around class. I just wanted to take the opportunity to let you know that we definitely meet teachers where they are, but we do not leave them where they meet them. I look forward to seeing all of you and all the wonderful work that we continue to do here in Louisiana. Thank you.
Thank you. So, did we have any comments from the board about anything that was said? Do we have any more public comments?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we got, look like it's Carla S. Is it Ross or Roggs? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Good morning.
Speak. I'm Carla Rogg, President of Pro Solutions Training, and this is Cindy Davis, Vice President for Research and Evaluation. And we just want to let you know that we're very excited about the prospect of offering a blended Early Childhood Ancillary Certificate program here in Louisiana. We're both Louisiana natives. I was raised in Lafayette and Cindy in New Orleans, and we are passionate about professional development for teachers to improve the quality of early childhood experiences, which are so important to the long-term child outcomes. We just wanted to let you know a little bit about our company, which has been in the early care and education arena for 27 years. And we've developed a strong program for the teachers in Louisiana, blending the consistency and accessibility of online courses with individualized support and coaching for participating leaders both online and on-site. While there will be an assigned coach for each candidate, we take a team approach, and candidates will be supported not only by their coach and their instructor, but also by our customer service team, curriculum design staff, and other program staff. I know it's really cliche, but it truly takes a village. As just a quick overview, our 120 online curriculum meets the Child Development Associate credential subject area requirements and is available to candidates 24/7. We understand the importance of the class assessments to ensure the quality of interactions between early childhood teachers and children and the class domains and dimensions which are incorporated throughout our coursework and assessments. The quality of our online coursework and support has been recognized by the National Council for Professional Recognition, also known as the CDA Council. In July 2017, we were one of the first 7 organizations to receive the Council's new CDA Gold Training certification because of the quality of our online coursework, the support services we provide for students, and our comprehensive learning management system. We just want you to know that we are firmly committed to program evaluation and continuous quality improvements. Our learning management system collects a vast amount of data, has a robust reporting capability, and allows real-time monitoring of progress and outcomes by the candidate, coach, and instructor. We will also seek feedback from all program stakeholders, including employers and partners. Our plan is to share the data with the state, with our partners, and continually make adjustments as needed to ensure successful outcomes. We believe that our program will support the state's goal in improving quality and outcomes for children in Louisiana, and respectfully request your approval. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have any comments from the board? You ready for the question? Any objections? The motion carried. Next item.
Your next item is on page 140, item 3.2, consideration of an update report on the state teacher recruitment campaign. The department recommendation is to receive the update report regarding the statewide teacher recruitment campaign presented by Louisiana Teacher of the Year, Ms. Kimberly Eckert.
Ms. Eckers, we're glad to have you here today, and so we're going to appreciate your comments.
Hello there. This is a great view. First of all, I've got to thank you so much for your time today, and I really need to extend an extra special thanks to Annie Morrison and Hannah Beach and Superintendent White for allowing me to be a part of the process for this teacher recruitment campaign. It's incredibly near and dear to me, and it's not actually because I'm a teacher. I'm already hook, line, sinker. I'm already here. But the importance of someone like me, I was educated K through 12 and then on to nearly a second master's degree in this state. I'm also a mother of a child who's going to be a part of our education system very soon. And so it's with this, that with this presentation today, I'm going to take you through a little bit about the really powerful need for teacher recruitment and a campaign to center around that right now. Also a little bit about the research and the background that went into why the ads in the media that you're going to see are targeting the very, very unique demographic that we're looking at, the way that that's going to work, and then also what every single person in the room today can do to be able to help and promote and push this so that it doesn't just sort of fizzle out. So, we all know this, like every single person, I don't think it's disputed that teaching is the one profession that creates all the others. We know that. And then on the inside of the profession, I also happen to know it's a super dynamic career, lifelong relationships, and it's not just with the kids, it is with the community, it is with your colleagues. We also know that for the right teachers, it's so innovative, and it's a lifetime to be able to handle daily challenges and overcome those and really be a part of something big. But despite all that, there's still also a huge need to elevate our profession. And I can't stress enough the need for that. And I don't know if people really outside of education understand why they keep hearing those words, that we need to elevate the profession. So here I'm just going to give you a little bit of background. I'm alternately certified, and a lot of that is because I was never encouraged to be a teacher, even though I had voiced it to the people around me. Every time that I tried to say, I think I could really be a teacher, I really want to help, I really want to impact change, I really want to give people autonomy over their lives and give them whatever they need to be successful, I was pushing other avenues. And so I ended up with a career in social work, which is great. But it was always sort of that sentiment where, oh, you could do more than that. Why would you just be a teacher? And that never really left me. And then whenever I was in another career and then I switched into teaching, it didn't really go away. And even from my peer group, my social group, my family, it still became that, oh, but you got so much talent, why would you do that? Once I was in the classroom, you'd be surprised how many kids and all their earnest sincerity, oh, Miss Eckert, why are you just a teacher? So you have to think about whatever message that we're putting out, whether it's subtle or not subtle, because what is that doing to attract talent? What is that doing to the students that are super talented, that are innovative, that are charismatic, that are really bright students, when every single time they voice that they might want to be a teacher, or they hear other teachers talk about it, or the community, and not really encourage and not really nurture that? What does that do? And then where does that leave us in terms of recruitment? So
Ms.
whenever it
Akers,
comes-
before you
Yes.
continue, I was just so excited to see you and speak to you that I didn't get a chance to get the motion and everything that I needed to get. So we don't, there were
Continue.
good comments, but we want to have you on the record. So can I get a motion?
So move.
By Dr. Bophy, and then Mr. Davis, he's the second. So we're glad to have you, so just go on.
Part
This
two.
is my first time hearing you speak.
Okay.
Okay.
So with that in mind, we also know this from a very different element. We need teachers. We need them desperately, and it's not just a Louisiana thing. At some point, there's always going to be a teacher shortage, and definitely we know that there's areas in Louisiana that struggle to recruit, whether it's those rural areas, whether it's areas or schools with students that are economically disadvantaged. That's a reality. And then when you look at the fact that those issues are really pervasive in those communities, and those are the students who are most at risk to not have the benefits of equity in their education. And so because of that, whenever schools strive to meet those needs, oftentimes the percentages of higher teachers that are teaching out of area, and they're doing the best they can, but they're not certified to teach in those areas. So I don't think that it goes without notice that, yes, we need to really stir up the teachers that we're recruiting and inspire that next generation to really fight for their chance to be a teacher and look at it that way. So essentially, this particular campaign, there's so much urgency because there's no great resource in those students in the classrooms. We know that. We don't have a minute to waste. We don't have a generation to waste. We don't have that time. So the State Department partnered with Zinder Communications. They're a marketing firm that's based out of New Orleans, and they were very, very happy to come aboard and come up with some really creative campaign solutions for us, which are going to be unveiled the first week or the second week of February. So the primary audience were really those high school juniors and seniors, and then college freshmen and sophomore that haven't really declared a major yet. They're not really too far in to their career yet. And then the secondary purpose are the people who influence those students, because they're the ones we really need to shape all of those perceptions. So it's not just sort of the lip service. It's, wow, you were really great. You'd be a great teacher. We support you in this. So the ads and everything that you're going to see really focus and target both those groups. So this is kind of interesting. I'm just going to share with you a little bit of the background. Some of it we know, and then it's always nice to kind of put facts because so much research was done before the marketing ever started. Whenever we surveyed high school and college students and really teachers trying to find out where these perceptions come from, we did find out that most of the students rely primarily on social media, and they really rely on the internet for their everything. They do. That's how they consume information. And we also know that they rely on their families and their parents. And we know that as of about right now, around 13% of that student base is kind of tinkering with the idea of maybe being a teacher. And what's interesting, so whenever we start to kind of look at this particular market, and this is going to help you understand once you start to see those ads whenever they roll out, Generation Z, those are the 16 to 20-year-olds, and I teach them in the classroom every day, and I know they are very, very unique in the methods that reach them the best. But what's interesting, they're actually risk-averse. They're not risk-takers. If you think about their parents and maybe the fact that they've been affected by the recession, they see the world in a very different way, and we don't always take that seriously in them. So that's something we can hone in on. They also believe that if they want something done, they have to do it themselves. They're not really apt to believe that they can really unite to do things. And I think that also has a lot to do with that technological culture. Because of that, they're attracted to jobs that aren't easily automatable. They don't want to be replaced. They want to have a career that's irreplaceable. So they have that respect for technology, but they also realize that so many things can be automated, and they don't want their career to be one of them. So aside from that, and this is where I know very much as a teacher, they have about an 8-second filter, so media has to come in and within 8 seconds sell them with a message. So you're going to see ads that really seek to gain their attention, to keep it, and to really leave a super memorable impact. Aside from that, just to give you sort of an overview of the campaign strategy, it is going to be hubbed in sort of the major markets, so Alexandria and Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, Monroe, Lafayette area. And then there's really going to be a gambit run with the campaign. So we've got radio and television ads, there's billboards, a lot of social media. Earned social media, we're hoping to get an earned media through news stories and op-eds. And then also public relations through the champions of education, which are you guys and everyone that's sitting here today. So the hope is that once we start to get these and get access, that we become what pushes it out, so we can really maximize all the work that's been put in to lay the groundwork for the advertising. I think what's extra special is that the actors, they're Louisiana teachers, and the schools, Benjamin Franklin High School and Samuel Green Elementary in New Orleans, I think that's really going to resonate with the population that we're trying to target, that our schools, our teachers, our kids are asking you really to come aboard. So aside from that, whenever the ads start to roll out, really trying to target it and infuse everyone that can have any stake in this. So current teachers, you, the board, education advocates, school and school system leaders, anyone that can kind of spread it, especially through social media with the hashtag #BeATeacherLA. So ultimately, it's really about kind of putting our money where our mouth is. We know that teachers have really powerful careers, and now let's start like putting our best and brightest children in the place and in the face of other children so that we continue that. So let's also boost it. So thank you so very, very much. I don't know if you have questions or the next part of the procedure, but I'm listening.
Ms. Eckers, we thank you for your comments, and I'm going to ask the board now, do they have any questions of you? Any board member?
I do.
Dr. Balfi.
Thank you. I think that this is exceptional, and I'm really excited about it. I share the experience that you did about in terms of being discouraged from teaching. I fortunately had grandparents who were educators who, like from the time I was born, helped me understand the power of the field, and that can't be changed, right? Because that came from my grandparents. I guess my question is, what are we looking for in terms of success or what this looks like for the future? And then I'll also just say I love the tidbits of understanding the students that you're currently teaching. I think that's different from what we see with a previous generation, and so it's just helpful to think about who our target audience is, and I think that'll help us be more successful.
So what's your question
about the like how are we going to know if we're successful with the campaign? What are we like? How will we know? What are we looking for?
I'm not privy to necessarily targets that have been set up, but I'm assuming that we'll easily be able to see spikes in enrollment in education programs. And I think that that's especially timely at a time where we've got these vibrant changes to the way that we're now training teachers. Really, it's the whole idea of a practicum. So I think it's coming at such a great time where if we have this sort of flood of interest, that we also have on the other end mentor teachers and the support to be able to take them in. So I'm not sure what the exact target would be, but I'm assuming it would be a very clear jump if year A had this many, and then wow, look at all the people
an
who
indicator.
are now interested in asking.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Ms. Vaucher has comments.
Yeah,
Questions.
I think this is a wonderful idea. I think that we need to, and we've talked many times here about elevating the profession in terms of having young people realize that it is an honorable profession to go into, and one that is very service oriented. I think we have an opportunity here to enhance that through this media campaign. I also think there's an opportunity, and I've asked this a couple of times, and I would ask Superintendent White to look at this very, very closely again, when we are having programs at high school level. We're looking at a target audience of juniors and seniors in high school as well as freshmen and so in college, that we used to have programs that would encourage high school students to look into education as a profession. For example, the Old Star program and such. Those of us who have been around long enough realize that. But we have an opportunity in our Jumpstart pathways to enhance or to put in a pathway that is much more education focused. We've begun it with some the early childhood ancillary programs for people who are seeking possibly associate degrees or 2-year programs in an early childhood lead teacher environment. I don't see why that cannot be expanded in a Jumpstart pathway to encompass 4-year degrees, just like we do with the engineering programs, where we may look at an associate degree as a culminating exit document for certain opportunities, job opportunities, and for those students who want to pursue an engineering degree in a 4-year university, all of those can be serviced within that pathway. Whereas in education, I think as we begin to talk to our high school students about it, the pathway should exist not only for ancillary certificates for lead teachers in early childhood, but for teachers, 4-year degrees, and exit documents could be content area practice exams, which are nationally recognized and such. So I think we have an opportunity here, concurrently with a marketing campaign, to do something from our perspective to encourage high school students by making it very real for them in a pathway in school where some of those early courses can be taken and exit credentials can align with content areas that we're looking for in prospective teachers. I think that could be a boon. I know that there are many kids who think about teaching and put that on the side because they're looking at other things, I guess. And sometimes we're our own worst enemies. Instead of encouraging our children and our students to follow us in these professions, sometimes we are discouraging them. So I think if we put that program in place at the high school level, we're going to generate a lot more interest, and students can explore that as a possibility along with concurrently while they're taking those electives in their high school career. So I would ask again that we, Superintendent, that we really look at that within the next few months of possibly incorporating that in some type of a pathway that we offer to our high school students.
Do we have any more comments from the board? Mr. Rock. You have the floor, Mr. Rock.
I can really commend the state. We in the Catholic diocese across the state of Louisiana a few years ago, the bishops all pooled their money to do a campaign, a marketing campaign like this to encourage parents to consider Catholic schools. And very similar, as I looked at the presentation, it mirrors what we did. And it was a tremendous success in identifying parents. We used the markets just as you're going to use around the state of Louisiana. It was on TV as well as other forms of media, and of course all the social media and all. And so I'm excited about this.
Thank you.
Well, I would like to applaud the effort, the campaign, and I'm hoping that it reaches every level of our societies and that we bring as many great teachers into the profession as what you have been. And thank you for your report today. I enjoyed hearing it. Okay. Do we have any objections to receiving the report? No objections. Then the next item.
Your next item is on page 141, item 4.1, consideration of teacher preparation program alignment extension submitted by Educator preparation program providers. The department recommendation is to approve the extension request as outlined, subject to contingencies.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Bolfie. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Davis. Do we have any comments?
I'll make some comments.
Okay.
Dr. Thomason, thank you. Members, this dates back to a year and a half ago when you passed changes related to the process by which colleges of education and alternative preparation providers would adapt their curriculum to new requirements. Those requirements would require that their curriculum be based in competencies to be demonstrated by teacher candidates and in a full year residency during which teachers would demonstrate those competencies. Over the course of this time, we've also communicated, per the regulations you passed, that we would try to keep to a firm timeline, but be flexible in depending on the institution's needs. And of the 27 applicants, 9 have requested an extension, and many of them are here today. I don't believe they have cards put in, but they're available if you have specific questions. I want to first recommend that we grant the extension. I think we've had a very trusting relationship with them. I can't think of any instance where my feeling wasn't that they were doing everything they could to meet the challenges of the moment. And per the presentation you saw at the last Board of Regents BESE meeting, I think they're extremely thoughtful in their approach and have shown national leadership on this initiative. On the other hand, I also think that we shouldn't wait a full year before you have a kind of report. We shouldn't need a moment like this in order for you to get a report on this. And so the one contingency we've asked is that they bring their give us a status update at the August meeting, and as of next January have listed the new courses in their curriculum, or the newly configured courses in their curriculum in their course catalogs by next January. What this would mean is that the students who are starting as eligible for the residency would start either as sophomores or juniors in the fall of 2019, and that we would, at the latest, and we'd be on track to, therefore, full implementation at that time. So what you're granting today is more time for providers, but you're allowing a checkup, and you're requiring that the courses ultimately be listed in course catalogs as of January of next year. I think, again, this meets the request of the providers, totally understandable requests, but it also allows you the confidence to know that the initiative is still moving down the tracks. And I personally want to thank Gene Burns, Dr. Rallo, the institution heads, the heads of the deans of the colleges of education, and the preparation program providers, as well as the faculty, for all of the work that they've done to make this work a reality. And I also thank them for coming to Baton Rouge today and making themselves available. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for your comments. I saw Dr. Jones, but before we get Dr. Jones, I will be recusing myself from this item because I work at Grambling State University, but I just want to make sure I say that so I won't forget it when it's time. But Dr. Jones and Dr. Bofi, and then we'll look on this side and see if there are any comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to, first of all, echo the applause for Dr. Gene Burns and Dr. Rallo that go with this. But I want to say from a personal standpoint, having worked with the universities, several of them on these different things, that we need to be, in my opinion, as flexible as possible in dealing with this, because this is a big change for some of these universities. Some of them are further along than others are. Some of them are looking at it a little differently. And so, as far as I'm concerned, I would rather that they get it right than they get it hurried. And so, I'm fully in support of giving them the assistance that they need, but also flexibility, because once that goes into their catalog, that's a contract between that student and that kid for the next 4 years at least. And I just think that having been to some of these universities and seen where they're going with it, like Louisiana Tech and ULM and LSU-A, as I say, some are much further along than others, and I think an extension is the appropriate way to do this. Thank you.
Dr. Bofi.
So I also support the extension, but I have questions about whether or not there are going to be check-ins or some kind of routines established outside of that, the August report. I know that's a formal report to us, and that makes sense to me, but I'd just like to know that there's a process in place to support this implementation.
Yes. So first of all, Shan Davis, Hannah Deach, and Gene Burns are meeting as effectively a unified team on a regular basis to kind of govern the initiative. Also, all three of them, and occasionally myself, are meeting with the deans and the head of the preparation programs as well. We are also working, on the training of mentors around the state. So there are 500 mentors who are currently in the process of being trained. That cohort will effectively graduate, and then we'll bring on hundreds more as well. And we're also providing nonprofit support for the colleges of education if they want it as they overhaul their curriculum. So I think in all of those ways there's good connectivity, there's a good dialogue going on. We don't want to make it so that they have to come to BESE on a regular basis, but on the other hand, I think that once annual check-in is the right timeline for you to check in with them. We're checking in with them pretty regularly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Superintendent. Mrs. O'Shea.
Yeah, I too support the extension. I think many of us had concerns that this initiative could be completed by July of 2018, and it's difficult for the universities to make that happen. I understand that, but just clarify for me: does that mean prior to this we were saying that incoming freshmen in July of 2018 would have had to undergo the residency, but now we're saying that for these universities incoming students from July of 2019. That'll be pushed to that, or how does that work?
Your policy allowed for either one of those dates. And there's, as I look out at this group, and for this reason, I don't want to overstate the importance of this vote. There are plenty of the institutions here that already have people who are well toward their graduations that are already in the residency. It is the question of how much of the student body it will be ready at the last date allowable under your regulations. And that would be the ones that are starting either as juniors or sophomores in the 2019 school year. But that's not a bumping back. That was always an allowable thing within
So
the
is it
regulation.
incoming freshmen as of July of 2019, or incoming into their College of Education?
Incoming into the College of Education.
College of Education, any student who enters July 1 of 2019 or subsequent to that date will be mandated to go through the year of residency,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Thank you, Ms. O'Shea. Do we have any more comments? Do we have any objection to the item? If there's no objections, motion carries. Next item, please.
Your next item is on page 154, item 5.1, consideration of an update report regarding the Teacher Certification Appeals Council. The department recommendation is to receive the minutes of the TCAC meeting held on November 30th, 2017, and to approve the nominee and incumbent appointments to the council as outlined. Would like to note one correction on page 155. David Beard is a representative of the Louisiana Association of Educators, LAE. It was entered incorrectly under the organization.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Bophy. Have a
Second.
second? Second by Ms. Holloway. Any comments? Any objections? There's no objections, the motion carried. Well, do we have comments? We do have comments.
No, I just wanted to read this.
Okay. No comments, so we'll go to the next item. The motion carried.
Your next item is on page 163, item 6.1, consideration of a records review regarding the issuance of a Louisiana teaching certificate appropriate to the credentials of Ms. Gerelda R. Barra. The recommendation is to grant, deny, or defer. Ms. Barra is in attendance.
Good to see her. Can we have a motion where you state what the motion is?
I'll move to grant.
Motion by Mr. Davis. Can we have a second? Second by Ms. O'Shea. Ms. Davis is here. And so, you have any comments for the board?
Yes, I would first like to thank you guys for hearing my request. My name is Geralda Barra. I'm an undergraduate at Delgado Community College. I graduated with my associate's degree in early and childhood education. I'm also a 2-year lead teacher at Berry Cherry Tree, which is owned by Paula Polito, who also serves on the early childhood committee. I have been employed with her for almost 2 years, and she has seen my hard work and dedication to the profession, and her faith in me has really helped me along my path. I am currently a class observer for the Reliable Observer for Jefferson Parish Network. This ancillary certificate will allow me to continue to be a lead teacher and change and shape the minds of our young children.
Ms. Barrera, I want to make sure I got your name right. We appreciate you for coming and your dedication to education. We're going to open it up to the board, see if they have any comments for you. If they don't have any comments, we'll make a decision. Anybody have any comments for Ms. Barrera? We got Dr. Jones.
And I know you knew I would, so. I look at these cases very carefully, and the combination of drugs, weapons, and kids just doesn't mix real well for me. So I think your case is compelling for approval, but I did note in there that in addition to the drug issue, there was also the issue of a weapon at the time. Could you take just a minute to explain what was the deal with that?
Under that, when I got arrested for the drugs, there was also 2 other persons that was with me, and one of them had a weapon, and it was under the same docket or whatever, all of us got arrested at the same time. So that's why it's under the same docket as my arrest.
Okay, so you didn't actually have a weapon yourself?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Any more comments from the board? Mr. Davis?
I just want to note that for the board members, if you're looking in the packet, we have, and the reason for my motion is we have some compelling, I think, letters of reference in there. And certainly I agree with Dr. Jones that when we look at these situations, there are some that would make us want to react a certain way, but we have to rely sometimes also so much on the input from folks who work closely with the applicants here. And so I'd let it be known that I've read over these letters, and that was my reason for the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Do we have any more comments from the board? Are we ready for the question? Do we have any objections to Barrera teaching certificates? No objections. Well, congratulations. Continue on with the profession. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, you guys.
Okay, thank you for coming today. Next item, please.
Your next item is on page 189, item 6.2, consideration of a records review regarding the reinstatement of a Louisiana teaching certificate appropriate to the credentials of Mr. Kelly Taylor Messenger. The recommendation is to grant, deny, or defer. Mr. Messenger is in attendance.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion? Motion by Dr. Jones, second. Second by Ms. Edgerton. And then we're going to clarify.
My
What's
motion
the
is
motion?
my motion is to approve.
Motion is to approve, and I saw a second by Ms. Edgerton. And so we got Mr. Messenger here, so Mr. Messenger, you can speak before the board.
Thank you. I want to first thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. I'm currently a math teacher at Catholic High School here in Baton Rouge. I've been teaching in Baton Rouge since 2003. I spent 6 years at Woodlawn High School and 6 years at Scotlandville Magnet. In 2016, I was given the chance to return to my alma mater, Catholic High, which is where I've always wanted to be. I've taught everything from 8th grade pre-algebra to AP calculus. I was involved with the basketball programs at Woodlawn and at Scotlandville, and I'm currently the head of the National Championship Ultimate Frisbee team at Catholic High. I love math, and I love Catholic High School, and I truly believe this is where I'm supposed to be. And again, I just want to thank you for giving me this chance to talk to you and for considering reinstatement of my certification. Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Messenger. Do we have any comments from the board? Thank you for your dedication. You got a very impressive record. We're gonna see if we have any objections, but I'm looking like the board is in unison. Do we have any objections from the board? Well, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any more items?
That concludes your agenda.
Thank you. Y'all have a nice day.